These are the best hunters after the 1 year anniversary. Let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube? NoGoodEman coming to you today with the hunter tier list for the 1 year anniversary. So guys, in this video I want to showcase you guys the best hunters in the 1 year anniversary. It's talking about the pure sweat princess all the way down to the earlier characters. So strap in, folks, because we've got a new hunters tier list for 2025. But before we talk this hunter tier list, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. If you're new, go and subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a live or an upload. Of course, support your boy on that Netmarble website. Join over 385 supporters in supporting the Monarch game to get those free codes. And then do not forget about you guys' daily gift draw, your first anniversary roulette to get you guys a bunch, and I mean a bunch of essence stones. We're gonna go ahead and spend this right now. Let's see if we can get something nice for the 1 year. And of course, you guys can do this daily, so you definitely do not want to miss out on that. 100 essence stones, can't complain. Now, as you can see, we've added a new tier, national level. So this is going to be the pinnacle of SLA. So I've completely cleared out the S rank category because we need to talk about the newest hunters in the S rank category and the newest hunters in the national level category. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. But first, I do have some tier list changes. I think that it's time to change up some of these characters that you see from the A down to the D tier. Starting off, Hwang Dong-soo, get your ass into the D tier. Honestly, guys, I've been trying to not put Hwang Dong-soo in the D tier for a while, but with the news of Leonard Nierman being a win, you guys are not going to be using Hwang Dong-soo in any regard. Let's be honest, guys. Let's all just be honest for a second. Hwang Dong-soo is a character not being used a little bit too often, and if you guys do have the ability to use him, you won't regret using him. But I'm just saying that characters like AMAMIYA and MIREI and then the new Leonard is going to be so much more useful. Now, let's go ahead and talk about another win character, Woo Jin-chul, the big Woo. Get your ass into the C tier. I'm sorry, Woo Jin-chul, a very good dude, a very good character, but honestly, with the likes of GOTO RYUJI being in the game, Woo Jin-chul, not a character that you're probably going to use too often. I will say he does have a very, and I mean very good support skill that increases the number of dashes by 2 and then recharges your entire dash gauge. So if you're doing things like Proof of the Strong, you might want him there. So he is a very good character. He could be useful in that regard. And then the hunter Charlotte is going to move some spaces back in the A tier. I think that Charlotte, while being a very good hunter, is not a hunter that you guys won't need out the gate in the mid game or in the end game anymore. You're probably going to be pursuing things like the win meta because all the content that is very hard, let's say Workshop of Brilliant Light, it does have an alternate element. So if we're talking Baran, he's weak to wind and dark, and if you want my personal opinion, you should probably prioritize wind. So people are going to see a decreased use of Charlotte, and she can honestly move down to the B tier, but we won't do her that dirty just yet. And I do want to move Cha Hae-In a few spaces up. Now, the personal reason I'm moving Cha Hae-In up is because I did play on my free-to-play, and then after 3 weeks I am seeing the use of Cha Hae-In once more. So I can say I personally might have been sleeping on her in that regard just because I wasn't using her on my pay to win, but she's still a very good character in her own right. Then let's go ahead and bump down Shimizu Akari. Honestly, guys, Shimizu, while being a very good unit, she's not getting too much of the limelight nowadays because she's just not being seen on the field, dude. I don't think that Shimizu Akari has touched my field on my pay to win in ages, and I honestly don't see the reason to drop for her in any regard, especially with the metas not being nowhere near light right now. But eventually, maybe if we get another DPS light unit, maybe if they boost Thomas Andre, then she could sneak up a tier 2. But right now, I just see her as something that could be useful because in the light meta, you could still run BYUNG-GU, which is definitely going to be in one of these top tier categories. Now that we've got all of that settled, let's go ahead and get down to these characters that have not been placed in the tier list as of yet. Starting from right to left, ESIL RADIRU is going to go into that national level category, dude. ESIL RADIRU is one of the only hunters that can do break, that can do damage, and that can do debuffs for the entire team. We're talking about that Prey on the Weak effect, and at Advancement 5, she's a character that you definitely want to have Advancement 5 for increased support to your fire damage for your fire teams. Whether that be Kanae Tawata, whether that be SOOHYUN, both of them will see added benefits from ESIL RADIRU maxed out on their team. So I would personally even say that having ESIL RADIRU maxed out first will be more detrimental than having your DPS unit maxed out first. Now, personally, that's just what happened on my free-to-play. I'm not saying that you shouldn't max out your DPS characters first, but of course, the gacha game is going to be the gacha game, so you got to work with what you got. I personally got ESIL RADIRU to Advancement 5 before I got Kanae Advancement 5, and I couldn't clear normal Workshop of Brilliant Light Baran until I got ESIL RADIRU Advancement 5. So I did it, I believe, with an A3 Kanae, which wasn't bad, but that just goes to show you that the Advancement 5 with those enhanced Prey on the Weak stacks is just that much more insane. So keep that in mind. I want to say, while normal Workshop of Brilliant Light Baran is not weak to fire, with that enhanced Prey on the Weak, it's almost weak to fire in that sense. So just keep that all in mind. She's also going to be increasing the additional attack for the highest critical hit rate member in her team, and then she's also going to be increasing the entire team's defensive penetration. But RADIRU won't be alone in that category for too long, because we're going to bring up the lady SOOHYUN and we're going to put her in front of her. So SOOHYUN is actually going to be the best breaker in the game, the fastest breaker in the game, and the most insane breaker in the game that you probably will want to be getting if you don't have her maxed out in the next update. Because guys, with things like Sub-Zero increasing the entire team's water damage, she is going to be very beneficial for all your water DPS, whether it be ALICIA Blanc, whether it be the Pure Sword Princess. You want SOOHYUN on your team if you're going to face any water weakness content, because if we're talking about the other water breaker available, we're talking about SOOHYUN. She's all the way in the average category, guys. So if you're going to push for the water meta, you don't want SOOHYUN, you definitely want lovely lady SOOHYUN. Go ahead and get her on the field because you will not regret having her. She's honestly kind of RADIRU in a sense. Honestly, ranger units are starting to be a new type of meta. I'm starting to see ranger units being a lot, and I mean a lot more useful, because these two ranger units specifically, while they do break insanely fast, they are also going to be boosting their entire team's damage for their specific element. Now that we talk national level hunters, let's talk about a character that wanted to be a national level hunter. GOTO RYUJI. He's not going to be a national level hunter, at least not for today. While GOTO RYUJI is an insane character, and I could honestly argue to put him in the national level category, he just doesn't do what these two top breakers do. So we're gonna actually do some comparison in that regard. He does increase at advancement 4 the damage of the third hunter in the team, and then that kind of comes with a little bit of backlash, also increasing their damage taken by 12%. But regardless, GOTO RYUJI is more of a DPS slash breaker instead of a support slash DPS slash breaker, and I do see SOOHYUN and RADIRU as all three, while GOTO RYUJI is more so on the DPS slash breaking side. Now, of course, things might change when Leonard Nearman comes through, but regardless, GOTO RYUJI is still a very insane category. Please do not think that the S rank category is to be taken lightly. These are some insane units that you definitely would want to rock on your field if you are facing this elemental weakness content. But we got the king out of the way. Let's go ahead and talk about the chairman himself. GUNHEE is going to go back into that S rank category. He's an insane breaker, and he was one of the first insane breakers because he was one of the first breakers to have Almighty Break embedded into his kit. Now this is at advancement 3, but regardless, GUNHEE is still going to be an insane character that you definitely want to have on your field because he does scale off a defense, so it's going to be very, very hard to get this unit off of your field. He's also going to boost the entire team's critical hit damage by 30% and the QTE damage by 150% at advancement 5. So that's something that you definitely do not want to disregard. He does have insane amount of core attack spams when you have him at higher advancement, and he's definitely the staple of the light meta. Whether you're using Thomas Andre, whether you're using Cha Hae-In, if you have GUNHEE on your field, you definitely won't regret him because he honestly also boosts the light team members' damage with his weapon. Next up is going to be MEILIN Fisher. Let's go ahead and bring that character all the way up to the national level category. Now, bear with me here because MEILIN Fisher, while a very good unit, she's going to be even more insane, guys. If you look at her pumped up effect, not many characters in the game do 5 different debuffs or buffs in just one advancement, guys, and MEILIN Fisher is one of those characters. So we really had to take a second to think about it. MEILIN Fisher is an insane, and I mean an insane healer. We do have other insane healers in the game, whether it be Mean, whether it be Hansime, which has the immortal effect, but MEILIN Fisher is going to see an increased amount of usage. A lot of people are going to be getting her to start their SLA journeys. I personally got her on the free-to-play to start my SLA journey, and I do love the progress that I have seen. She's going to increase things like the core attack damage for her team at lower advancements, and then it's going to get even more insane at higher advancements. And then don't forget about that rear lash effect at advancement 3, increasing the all team members power gauges by 8%, and then when she hits boss monsters, it's going to be an additional 8%. So with MEILIN Fisher on your team, you guys will be almost alt spamming if you had things like the destroyer set on her, which people don't really run all too late. Regardless, guys, MEILIN Fisher, an insane unit, don't sleep on her. But where does that leave the boy Mean? Honestly, I wish I could put the boy Mean in the national level category. That'd just be my personal bias though. He's gonna sneak into the insane category. Now, BYUNG-GU, still a very, very good unit and still a unit you definitely want to have on your field. But as of late, the light meta just hasn't seen too much of the limelight, and I don't want to disregard Mean in any sense because at advancement 5, if he does use his ultimate, he's gonna boost the team member with the highest total power by 50%. So a very, very good effect. Now he does have some kicks because in things like Power of Destruction, he won't have that enhanced punishment effect. So that is something to talk about. And then Mean, he's probably just a simpler healer. So he's an S rank healer, S rank on the tier list, BYUNG-GU, definitely a character for you. About to be waifu leveling in a second, but let's go ahead and talk about one of them. Yu So-hyun, the glamorous model, will sneak into the S-rank category. Honestly, Yu So-hyun is still a very good character that you guys do want to be using for the same exact reasons you always wanted to use her. That insane amount of defensive penetration. She's one of the only characters in the game, if not the only character in the game, that can almost reach 100% and above defensive penetration. So for things like the workshop of Brilliant Light demos, for things like other endgame content, you probably will see an increased amount of usage for Yu So-hyun. Now, that doesn't mean that that's a character that you want to have in your rate up, but she's a very good character to fail your rate ups. Honestly, guys, if you have Yu So-hyun at high advancements, you better be using her, especially if it's fire weakness. If you guys don't have Tawata Kanae at a higher advancement, Yu So-hyun will definitely be your backup. But of course, we just talked about it. Tawata Kanae, this is one of my favorite characters in the game, and honestly, this is the community's favorite in many regards, so you already know where she's going. She's going to be the pinnacle of SLA. For whatever reason, the devs made this character just automatically broken, guys. And we have the ability to get her at advancement 5. Her Sixth Sense effect increases her own attack by 77%. Now that alone is just enough reason to stop talking about Tawata Kanae, but go ahead and comment below what other character has that insane effect. Honestly, Yu So-hyun though, that's an insane, and I mean an insane amount of things. Not to mention her basic skill 1 can honestly be an extra dash because it helps you guys extreme evade, giving you guys some quick iframes, and then her advancement, not advancement, but her skill 2 hits like an ultimate. Quite literally, it's basically embedded into her kit that her skills become ultimate skills, and that hits like ultimate skills. So Tawata Kanae doing a lot of mob clear, doing a lot of this, doing a lot of that, hella ultimates. You guys definitely will need this character on your field. Please get her if you guys are starting your SLA journeys. I've been reiterating this so much, and then she's going to be so useful in just the content. She's going to be breezing through all the modes, reverse mode. I'm using her in pretty much anything I can, guys. So I'm personally a big fan, and it might be a little bit of bias, but I think you guys can all agree that Tawata Kanae, a very insane unit. Then there were 4. Let's go ahead and talk about Thomas Andre. The Goliath himself will sneak into the S rank category. This is a very good unit, and with the addition of the Iron Will set, the more that you guys spam his ultimate, the more stronger he is going to get. And honestly, the Iron Will set boosts his black hole crash. So if you guys have the ability to get Andre Thomas at advancement 5, you guys will see an insane amount of damage. The only thing is that the current meta is not anywhere suited to light, but the second it is suited to light, you best believe Thomas Andre is going to be around the corner. Thomas Andre is going to be the name that you're going to hear all across all channels. But regardless, the Goliath himself does an insane amount of things. His ultimate is very cool as well, because you guys can actually QTE and not lose his ultimate. So he's not like AMAMIYA MIREI in that sense. And with that, let's go ahead and talk about her. So AMAMIYA MIREI is going to be the next character, also going to be in the S rank category. AMAMIYA MIREI, I do think that she's going to be peeling out of the limelight very soon with the addition of Leonard coming through. And regardless, she's still going to be an insane unit that you probably will want to go for if you are pushing the win meta specifically to start your account. Now, I personally think that you guys should be pushing the fire meta to start your account, but some people can do whatever they want, and this assassin, this demon child, will get you very far as well. I'm not gonna lie, dude, she's done an insane amount of damage. When you put that mask on, it's gonna be a scary sight to behold, and you've heard that often if you watch my videos. But advancement 4 AMAMIYA MIREI is very scary, increasing her own win damage by 10% for every win team member in the party. So if you use her with the likes of GOTO, with the likes of Hansi Mei, you're going to be doing an insane amount of damage. So that's all I can say for AMAMIYA MIREI, a very good unit. And then there were 2. We've got the Pure Sword Princess and the Ice Witch herself. ALICIA Blanc, though, we're going to talk about her first. Honestly, guys, this might be one of the most dropped characters. She's going to drop multiple, and I mean multiple tiers. She's going to go from an insane category all the way to the good category. Now, hear me out. ALICIA Blanc, a very special unit, very dear to my heart, guys. And you know, if you join the live streams, they know that this is gonna hurt me a little bit. But regardless, ALICIA Blanc is still a very good character, very good core spam in her kit. But with the addition of the Pure Sword Princess, you guys don't need ALICIA Blanc anymore. I'm gonna be honest, guys. And if you watch the videos or watch the guides, you know exactly why. Alicia Blanc's still a very good character, but she's just not relevant in the current game. The game's pacing, the game's speed, the game's fights are getting faster and faster, and Alicia Blanche just isn't keeping up with that. Regardless, she's still a very good unit that you do want to have because she's able to freeze her targets. She's able to control the battlefield when she freezes her target. So with that core spam is very, very good. And with the likes of MEILIN Fisher, she's definitely going to be boosting her. But then there was one. Where does the Pure Sword Princess rank in SLA? Of course, she's going to be at the pinnacle right next to Tawata Kanae. Now, something controversial, I do think that these two characters are very, and I mean very interchangeable, guys. I think that this is like 1A and 1B. I can't even say right now which character is better between Tawata Kanae and the Pure Sword Princess, but if you put a gun to my head, I might say Tawata Kanae. Now, of course, I do want to note that when an update hits, you won't see immediate usage of a character. So when hard mode Yogamon does come out, we will see that the Pure Sword Princess will be shining a little bit more. Tawata Kanae is a very still insane unit, but right now, I personally think that it's just like 1A and 1B. So I'm not really saying that one character is stronger than the other. I'm honestly just going to keep doing this because you could honestly very, very, very heavily argue which one of these characters are better. So go ahead and comment right now, guys. If you made it this far, which character do you have at your #1, dude? Because it's honestly very hard for me to pick, and it's been very, very hard for me to release this tier list just because of these two characters, dude. I've been thinking over the past few days, which of these characters are truly at #1? The Assassin or the Pure Sword Princess? But regardless, guys, this is going to be your updated tier list for solo leveling your rides after the 1-year anniversary. These are some insane units, and we're gonna get even more each and every update. But with that, what do you guys think about Hunter tier list for May? Go ahead and leave your thoughts there in comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. Peace.